What is up? Welcome to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Spread Astaire, joined again by Tyler Hicks. And Tyler, we have quite the slate today, but quickly, was there anything you saw in the NBA last night that you think we need to discuss?
I mean, we could just touch on, we got both our best bets home. You got the Phoenix Suns home over the Timberwolves. I mean, that offense doesn't look good trying to run two bigs. And we got the Chicago Bulls money line home over that Brooklyn team that looked like they fatigued in the end. Durant turned over the ball like 5 times in that fourth quarter spread. It's almost like he got tired after playing all those minutes in the last couple days. So maybe even firing the coach didn't give them the bump up enough to win the game. But 11 games tonight, I think we're going to find a ton of more winners. We were already talking about them pre-show.
We've already gone over the numbers, putting the projections up in the playbook. It's a little late getting up today, guys. My apologies for that for the Run Pure members. But we ran the numbers, talked to Tyler about them, made a couple adjustments, and I'm feeling pretty strong about our projections today. So, you know what? It'd be interesting if Brooklyn
Our guy in the chat's already saying it. Let's get those likes up today. If they want the best bets, if they want the parlays, the likes got to be up today. Hoop wasn't happy with us yesterday.
Yeah, I'm getting, and Hoop's one of the nicest guys too. So when you get messages like that, you know you're doing something wrong. Hey, runpuresports.com, #join it, become a member. Let's go. And DJ's already what a day. I'm already getting roasted. If you don't know, DJ, I'm not having the best day already, okay? I'm already kind of struggling with a little bit of moodiness, and now I'm getting roasted.
Fred's just the third comment today, and now he's getting roasted.
Yeah, I'm an absolutely hater mode, but usually that makes good content. And I'll start by hating on the Brooklyn Nets, Tyler. We saw this with the Los Angeles Lakers, right? You get the 2 stars in there, and the way the NBA salary cap works now, unless you just absolutely nail all those depth pieces, you know, just 2 stars and 8 guys that are below average isn't going to get it done. I mean, do you think that's going to happen with Brooklyn here? I mean, do you think they turn this around? Obviously, they got a new coach coming in soon. You know, as a great man once said, though, hide your wives, hide your kids, hide your wives when that guy's coming in there. So it'll be interesting to see. How do you feel about the Nets' future? Does this have a Lakers-like ending where you have these 2 stars and no one around them to help out?
I mean, it definitely could, but they're getting a defensive-minded coach in there. Did you see the rumor that came out that Ben Simmons has popped up in trade talks again with a Western Conference team for a veteran shooter and a couple other pieces? So
who's trading for Simmons?
The Spurs, maybe. You snag maybe.
What, they're not tanking well enough?
Maybe not, but if there's any better place for him to be, why not send him to a place nobody pays attention to in San Antonio? So, I mean, if they can get some shooters back, get a couple defensive pieces, get another big to back up Claxton, I mean, they could make some noise in the East. But, I mean, I still don't think they can turn it around enough to touch the top tier of Milwaukee and Boston, though. I think they can make noise, but once they run into those two, that's where they stop.
I mean, aren't the Bulls kind of our litmus test if you're a good team? If you're a good team, you beat the Bulls.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't we decide that last year? All right. So enough about last night. And DJ, yeah, no, we're just having some fun here. Having a lot of fun. Is this pre-recorded? No, we are live. We're doing it live, just like Bill O'Reilly once said. The Washington Wizards are the first team on our slate to discuss today. They are now plus 6.5 in Philadelphia, taking on the 76ers. Total of 218.5. And Tyler, you know that we can't discuss the Philadelphia 76ers without checking the injury report. And once again, Joel Embiid is questionable. Okay, so how do we cap this game? I always run my projections with him in there. And one thing I've noticed about Embiid, if he does play, and I'm not the only one, you know, I saw this and then, you know, confirmation bias. I saw a couple tweets kind of saying the same thing. Doesn't it feel that Embiid feels a little jilted from not getting that MVP? We're seeing a little more emphasis on the offensive end, less on the defensive end, you know, kind of like Jokic was. But here we go here. If Embiid's not that elite defensive player, I don't think this team can win the title. But, of course, they can win regular season games, especially at home, especially against a team like the Washington Wizards. Tyler, we quickly threw the projections in. Let me pull them back up. I have the 76ers, if Embiid plays, getting an easy cover here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if he plays, they're definitely going to cover. They were able to cover a couple nights ago, and they played Washington. Mind you, Washington was on that back-to-back. Neither team's in that spot here. I think Harden has another big game. When you look at his stats against Washington, he's averaged 28, 7, and 6 against his team in the 24 games he's played against them in his career. Mind you, a lot of those games came in Houston when he was able to just pound the ball with a ton of volume. But let's see what his points and assists is set at tonight. Because last game he went for 23 and 17. So we're getting that number at 31.5 here tonight. I don't hate that prop here. I think he could definitely go over that number. And if Embiid's out, it's going to jump up to around 35.5 because he's going to get the extra usage. Also, with Maxey shooting so good, he could just dish the ball to him and get a ton of those assists. So like that prop there. I do like Philly as the side if Embiid's in. But if he's out, small lean to the Washington side at 6.5.
Have you pulled up DK yet? Because we have to be interested in these guys' spend-ups, right?
Here, I'll get that. I'll get on that now. I didn't have it up.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now too.
Looking at this game, maybe some Harden if Embiid's out, because I mean, Washington just gets dominated by the guards. Could get Maxey in there, depending on the price, because I know he was pretty cheap the other night. So those would be the two guys, and then maybe some of the if Embiid's out, then I'd play Melton because he's always going to be cheap.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, right? Because he's one of those players where all your projections are going to have to be boosted if he sits. So hashtag Travis Mangone, hashtag wait for the news. I think I like Philly regardless, though. They played pretty well with him out so far this season, right? PJ Tucker, that's that huge addition. You can run small ball, and then I think Maxey fits in really well with that team. I see DJ in the chat, 76ers or Nets as of right now. I like the Sixers. I like the Sixers better right now. Much better, much better. So we'll see, though, because I know that you did say, hey, Udoka's a bozo, but he's probably a better coach than Doc Rivers.
Is this game not listed on the DK board?
What do you mean?
Go on DraftKings. Yeah, go on DraftKings right now. It says 10 games.
You're right. It's not even on it. Okay. I don't even know why we're talking about that game. It must be a showdown. And, of course, if you want the great showdown content, head to runpuresports.com. Total 218.5. What did you think, Tyler?
Small lean to the over just because there's going to be no defense really played here. Washington's going to give up a ton of points. And if they're going to stay in this game, they're going to have to keep up with Philly scoring. So small lean to the over.
Yeah, I have this really going over. Do you think that I messed this up? To be honest, I have almost everything going over right now.
Yeah. With the way the defense is playing that new take foul, nobody wants to get that foul call. So you just let these guys get the free bucket. And it's such a low total. I'm going to lean towards the over. I mean,
you know why, Tyler? This game starts at
6. I know. I just looked
3
at that.
p.m. Why?
I don't know.
Do you think it's because of the baseball?
It might be, yeah.
It has to be because of the baseball. All right. That's fair. And look at a couple trends here. Washington's 1-4 in their last 5 games. The total's gone under in 7 of Washington's last 10 games. I don't really care about that. And let's see. Do we have any against the spread trends with these two teams? No. Philadelphia's 12-1 straight up in their last 13 at home against Washington. But against the spread, it's been pretty even. Philadelphia has been covering in their last 5 games, though. So lots of interesting opportunities here. Anything else you were looking at in this game, Tyler?
No, not much else in that game for me. You just got to wait on all the news for Embiid because you don't want to get too much in on Harden.
Well, at least it's a showdown slate, and it won't completely change how we're looking at things.
Oh, yeah, very true.
I'm actually kind of happy about that. So thanks, Phillies. All right, the Boston Celtics are -2 in Cleveland, taking on the Cavaliers. Total 220. Tyler, now that I'm doing the show, my mood's increasing. Could be the rock star too. Mixed it with some Gatorade. That's a good trick, guys. If you're trying to cut back, you just pour a little bit of Rockstar in your Gatorade. You got to get the kind with no carbonation, though. But, hey, excuse me. There we go. The Cleveland Cavaliers are catching 2 at home against a very good Celtics team on a total of 220. But when I ran this morning, we had the Cavaliers winning outright. What do you think of a Cavaliers money line play here?
There's a big questionable tag on Darius Garland. I think is going to mean a lot here.
Why does that mean a lot?
Because I think if he plays, I want to be on Boston. Because they played well when the ball's in the hands of Donovan Mitchell running the offense right now. Mm-hmm. You're going to bring your point guard back in who runs your offense. Now you got to kind of get used to that again. Mind you, they looked pretty good when they were together before. A couple games with the ball in the other hands. Now you got to kind of get used to it again. And against a very good defensive team like Boston that you already beat once this year, they probably want that win back. They're going to come in. They're going to fight for this win. If he's in, definitely give me Boston here.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. Well, I'll wait for the news on that one, too. I'm surprised that you think that they won't be able to integrate so Aisley, first of all, I think it's good for the team because it gave Donovan a time to get acclimated to his new teammates. Eye lacerations. So, oh boy, that's rough. I mean, it just sounds painful hearing it, right? But that's not something like an ankle or a knee, right? I mean, when you come back, you're going to be 100%. So you got to think that's going to be helpful. Boston is 2-4 in their last 6 against Cleveland. I guess we're going to be opposite here, Tyler. The numbers wanted me to take Cleveland, and I think I'm going to go there. They've been pretty good at home. But, of course, if Garland sits, you're going to go ahead and join me with Cleveland Cavaliers, right?
Yeah, I mean, put the ball back in Mitchell's hands. They're going to have the advantage on the inside with the 2 bigs. They'll be able to stop them in the paint. It's going to basically be Boston hitting their threes or not. But if he's in, I'm on Cleveland. If he's out, I'm on the Cavs.
And I guess with him being out, we don't have a lot of trends. I mean, not trends, excuse me. I was looking up trends to give them out to the people. We don't have a lot of props for these teams, right?
I mean, there's some up. Like, I'd get in on if you could find a Jared Allen rebounds prop. FanDuel doesn't have one up right now. They basically just have the Boston guys up right now. So, like, Tatum, 27.5 points. I do kind of like that because they really don't have anybody to guard him. And his threes are set at 3.5 plus 130. Definitely like that. He could definitely hit 4 threes in this matchup.
Here's one I bet. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Al Horford under 9.5. Isn't the way to attack Cleveland outside?
Yeah, it is. And is he going to hit 3? Is he going to hit 4 threes on you? Or
that's basically what you're betting, right? Or
yeah.
3 threes in a layup. So I think they keep him off the board. And I think it's just smart to go away from it. Hey, I know Udoka was a great coach, but they don't seem to have missed a step so far. Let's see how that goes in the playoffs, but you have to give Boston their credit right now. So that's the way that we're looking at this game. Anything else from this game that you think that I missed?
No, I mean, I think we pretty much touched on everything in that game.
Well, did you pull DK up? Do you want to talk about some of these guys here?
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is definitely in play if Garland sits again. He's 9-4. He's a little cheaper than the other guys up top. 70 points in his last game, 51 in that, 35, 56, 57, 50. So he could definitely get you there at that price. And then some of the – I don't hate Jake taking Jared Allen here too because he could be dominant on the inside here. He could get 15 points and 15 rebounds easily here in this matchup because Horford's not going to stop him on the boards.
Horford's not really a good rebound.
5 against him. Yeah. It's just, is he going to stay in the game? Because last game against the Knicks, he lost that fourth quarter rotation to Kevin Love. He came in and hit a couple threes. They started to come back.
But that's because Kevin Love was just hot.
Yeah, they just went to him and they were like, we're just going to stick with him. So I think the fourth quarter rotation should be there. So definitely like him at the center spot.
All right. Let's talk about the Charlotte Hornets taking on the Chicago Bulls. The Charlotte Hornets catching plus 4.5 on a total of 223.5, plus 163 on the money line if you're a believer in Buzz City. Tyler, my numbers had this pretty close. I got them by 4 lines, 4.5. I mean, I got it going a little bit over, but like I said, I have almost everything going over, so I don't necessarily trust the projections there. What do you think about the Bulls and the Hornets?
I mean, looking at this injury report, Rozier doubtful still, Martin doubtful still, LaMelo's still out. And then on the Bulls side, Drummond's not questionable, Kobe White's back to questionable, Levine's going to sit, he's doubtful. I don't see him playing a back-to-back. So it's going to be the DeRozan, Vucevic. So they could be able to get the job done, but just like I've said in these other spot spread, I'm going to fade these teams when they're in these back-to-backs and they have to travel. They played in Brooklyn last night. They had a nice win. Now they got to come back home, play Charlotte. Give me Charlotte here. Just give me plus the points.
Take the points with the Hornets.
Yep.
Let's stay away from this total. I don't trust my projections yet on totals, and I'm fine with that. This is 2 years in a row. Totals are tough at the beginning of the year because we've had rule changes. Talk to me about props.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this one, I don't hate taking like a Dosunmu points or assist here, or even doing the points plus assist here because Levine's going to be out. It's basically going to be in that backcourt by himself. Caruso isn't going to take much usage away from him. It's going to be the DeRozan Vucevic show. And DeRozan really doesn't bring the ball up much, so it's still going to be Io. So definitely like hit right, but not much else in that game. Maybe if you want to touch some Vucevic, I don't hate it, but he's never really.
Yeah, we got burned there last night, huh? I had him.
Yeah, whenever I bet him or I put him in DFS, he always does. So I'm just going to stay away from him.
I mean, my lineup was not good last night, but that happens, right? We're not right every single night, and you actually had some success on the DFS streaks, though. Why don't you tell everyone about that while I pull up this next game?
I mean, I just won a couple $100. It could have been a lot better, but went with Venture. He had a snowflake, but I thought he was a good play. He didn't play very good in the first half. He was very quiet, and then he picked it up towards the end of the game. But then OKC put it on him the end of the game. Fred, did you catch that? I mean, SGA is just a monster. Like my statement, every game looks better and better by him being better than Jaw. I know I'm going to catch a lot of heat for that one, but I really think he is.
It's funny. I'm doing some writing about that game tomorrow when the Thunder take on the Nuggets, and I just said this tanking is just terrible for these teams. You have a guy with the talent of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he's just wasting away here in Oklahoma City. So what? They can just get 17,000 draft picks. I mean, real feel bad for the guy, but we'll take advantage of it from a DFS perspective because that guy's just soaking up usage. Even with Giddey in, right? Because you remember when we did the show yesterday, we thought Giddey was out, had Shai in the lineup, and what? I didn't give it off him.
Just does this again. He still puts up crazy numbers. And he was a big reason why they won that game in the fourth quarter. They were down like 12 that.
Yeah. My guy Devin says, do you think SGA would put up the same numbers on a better team? No, but he's at least getting the credit. And
I think if he would have never got traded from the Clippers and those guys just kind of on the team as like their contract hire, that team is a lot better. He's a key piece on them making a deep run in the playoffs.
Do you think SGA is straight up better than Ja talent-wise? Talent-wise, no. I think Ja's more athletic, quicker. I think
he's got the athleticism. Yeah, that's all he's got on him, though. I think SGA's got the better shot, passer, everything else.
Yeah. So, but they're really close. I don't think you can go wrong with either. I think if you switch them, I think the Grizzlies will be just as good. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's a real team run correctly, and then you have the Thunder. Maybe they get this thing turned around, but they're really disappointing so far this season. I don't know why Bookmaker keeps giving me these out of order. So
I was trying to figure out how you got to that game from the first game.
Maybe they're moving the times. Okay. Anyways, you want to talk about the Sacramento Kings?
I mean,
they got the win over the Hornets the other night. They're +6 in Miami right now, total of 220. I think Fox is going to sit, right? And that's actually
it says he's out. It says injury, knee bruise, estimated return 11-5. So he's out.
And that makes the team better because Davion actually plays defense. Can you imagine that? Defense actually matters. We the people just gave us a thumbs down on the video. But no, I mean, you got a guy here that Davion was great, man. That the Kings were getting smacked. They were getting absolutely smacked. And as soon as Davion came in, the whole complexion of that game came in. I'm going on top of my head, but I think they won the third quarter like 37-18. All behind the fact that Davion stopped them at the point of attack, and he didn't let them attack the weakest rim-protecting center in the league, Domantas Sabonis. But don't get me started about how the Kings have built their roster. So I think they have a good chance to exceed expectations tonight. I don't trust my projections because, like I said, I think Davion makes this team a little bit better. What are your thoughts here when the Kings take on the Heat?
I think I'm going to be on the Kings here spread. Miami got that nice win against the Warriors last night. You know they cared about that game more.
Yeah, they definitely
did. See them going out and celebrating after that one. Tyler Hero's probably not going to play in this game. He got poked in his eye last night. He said he couldn't see anything out of his eye, so I doubt you see him tonight. Oladipo came down the doubtful from out, so maybe he shows up, but I don't see him making very much of an impact that quick. So it looks like it's going to be the Butler show and just a bunch of these backups. So, and no rim protection. Butler could put up a monster number in fantasy here at 8,800. I don't hate playing him. And then some of these, like the guys that are going to pick up Hero's usage, I think, with him out, of course, it could be Lowry, but in a back-to-back, I don't think you see much of him. Maybe you get like 26 to 30 minutes, but Max Strauss, Gabe Vincent, these are going to be the guys that see the minutes, I think. I'd definitely look to get on those guys.
Now, remember, this is the only team that Sacramento's beaten this year. Do you think there's that, like Travis would say, revenge factor? Or I know some other cappers like that too, they get back. Do you think that matters, or you think the fatigue is too much?
I think they cared a little bit more about the game last night. And
I wonder why.
I don't even hate doing the patented Sacramento first half here spread. And they come out, they win the first half, and then they maybe blow the game late. Okay. Like kind of how they won the game against the Heat last time. They came out, they blew them out in the first half, and then the Heat were able to cut that to dump single digits and almost win that game before the Kings snuck it out. So could see that same exact script here.
All right. Anything more from this game? Do we want to go to some DFS? Do I go back to my guy Davion?
I mean, I don't hate it. I would definitely look to get on Butler here, though. I mean, I could see him doing 60-plus points here against a team with no rim protection. He's going to get to the hoop at will. If Hero's definitely out, I definitely want him because now he's got the ball in his hands a ton. Could rack up the assists also, so definitely like Jimmy here. Definitely like Strauss and Gabe Vincent if he's also out.
Davion's only 4,200, man. He's going to be chalk, huh?
Give me Herter on that side.
Kayvon?
Yeah, 5,500. Gonna play 35 plus minutes here. If he gets hot from three, which shooting guards do against Miami, definitely like him here.
All right. Do you want to talk about your favorite game of the night now?
Sure, we can do that one.
The Atlanta Hawks are +2 in New York, Madison Square Garden, taking on the Knicks. Total 233.5, +120. And Tyler, Travis loves his revenge, but you have your own angle that you've cultivated that's completely outside of basketball, but it's been successful for us so far. Why don't you go ahead and let them know what happened outside of the NBA world that's going to affect tonight's game?
Well, I mean, before we get to that, it's Trae Young in the Garden. We know how that goes. He gets his villain role. He's killed him a ton in this building. Okongwu is questionable. Grimes is questionable. Reddish is questionable. So nobody really all that important. They could just run Capella and John Collins out there. But yeah, he's going to go. He's got a little extra motivation. One of his buddies, one of the rappers passed away. He got shot in Texas. And you know how these NBA players play when their friends get shot or they pass away. You've seen Russ put up a 20-20-20 line for Nipsey Hussle a few years ago. Memphis blew somebody out when Young Dolph passed away. Now you get this one. I could see Trae Young going for 35 plus here and lighting this team up. So give me Atlanta at the dog price. They're winning this game tonight.
I love that prop. I am with you. And I like Atlanta straight up here too. So, this is a great thing. And you sent to me that he had tweeted right when it came out. I expect another big performance from Young. So we are completely aligned here. Almost throw like all these previous trends and projections out the window. I think we get a playoff caliber effort here from the Atlanta Hawks. So does that mean we're spending up for our guy? I think we have to, right? If I got Davion, I can afford it.
Oh, yeah, I definitely like Trae in this spot. I mean, even there's a guy in the chat's talking. This is a different Hawks and Knicks team. The Trae's on the court now with Murray. Trae's still putting up monster numbers. I mean, he could easily house his team for 35 plus and 12. With Murray going for, say, 25, 9, and 9. They'll just get both all the usage. He's going to just fire threes against his team. The Knicks play no defense. Brunson went from being a pretty good defender.
They're all right at defense.
They don't play no defense. So I think there's going to be high scoring.
Don't let Thibodeau hear that.
Yeah, it's going to be high scoring. Definitely like Trae Young's props. If you maybe want to dabble in on Murray's, you could, but like the Trae Young side better. And then on the other side, give me Brunson's PRA. He's putting up 20 points. He's putting up around 20 points. He can grab 5 to 6 rebounds. We've seen him even get higher than that. And he's racking up assists, and they are not even reacting to those numbers. You're getting that number pretty low, right around in the lower 20s, and maybe even like around 26. So definitely like his PRA.
All right, there you have it. Anything else there?
Nope, that's pretty much it for me on that game.
All right. Sorry about going out of order. Blame Bookmaker, man. I just read it off what Bookmaker has, and they messed up with our order today. All right. Let's get back on track, though. The Toronto Raptors are -7.5 in San Antonio, taking on the feisty Spurs. The Spurs have been doing well this season. Of course, they waived the lottery pick, Josh Primo, but we don't really need to talk about that here. Total of 223.5. Maybe Ime Udoka should coach him.
Did you see before? I was about to say before we even get into it. Did you see the meme where it was like Brooklyn Nets have claimed Josh Primo off of waivers?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, what?
But you get the joke.
What's going on there. Yeah, I know exactly what's going on there. Yeah, maybe it'd be
you got to pair him and Udoka up.
Yeah. They're going to have some great press conferences there. I mean, boy, Brooklyn. We'll stay away.
Talk
from
about
that.
Taking the villain role on.
Yeah. So the Spurs are the good guys. They got rid of him. Now they're catching 7.5 at home against the Toronto Raptors team. Let me pull up these projections real quick. Where do we have this one? Yeah, this is way out of order. While I do that, go ahead and break down this game.
Give me the Raptors here. They're winning this game by 15 spread. I don't even think we got to get real in depth.
Why? So on my projections, I have the Spurs covering.
Look at the injury report. Keldon Johnson out. Devin Vassell out. Who in the hell is doing anything for this team on offense? Trey Jones? The kid out of Baylor, like Podol? These guys are not going to be able to
Josh
score
Richardson season?
They're not scoring on Toronto spread. Toronto's going to come in. They're going to be able to play great defense. Barnes, Siakam, Trent, these guys. They're just going to lock his team down. I'm not going to mess with the total. If it was, it'd be under. I think Toronto comes out. They just clamp down on this team, win it by 15. Just give me Toronto on the side.
Okay, you're taking Toronto, and let's go ahead and stay away from that total once again. Anything more on this one? I mean, Probably Spurs attractive on the DFS side.
I mean, yeah, you could find some cheap guys. I'd have to look more into it. I haven't looked
Yeah,
and seen
why don't we
how
go
those
ahead?
rotations break down. I'll pull up the pricing now on their depth chart.
I think this gives us a perfect opportunity to plug the Hardwood Show.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because those guys are going to be dialed in. And I think that we do a great job of identifying spend-ups. Vukovic notwithstanding yesterday, Paulo notwithstanding, right? We're not 100%. But when we're identifying these spend-ups, we're using the Run Pure team to get the value so we can afford these guys. So make sure you're watching that Hardwood live show. Make sure, if you're not, at least check it out. Think about becoming a member, and you'll get access to all the core plays and the player polls. Last promo, give us the thumbs up. It was hurtful yesterday. That's probably why I'm in a bad mood today, Tyler. I probably haven't recovered.
Is that why you didn't sleep good last night?
Yes, I was thinking, like, why does nobody like the show? Like, we were giving out great game theory. We gave out 2 winners. Unbelievable. 2-0 on the show. Great game theory. We didn't get any likes. I don't know what you have to do.
Looking at this depth chart for the Spurs spread, Trey Jones, Josh Richardson at the guard spots. They could bring in the Romeo Langford kid, Doug McDermott, the rookie out of Ohio State.
Dougie McBuckets?
Yeah, I can see Dougie McBuckets getting some minutes here at 4,300. So
that'd
be one guy.
To quote Travis, he'll chuck.
Yeah, if I had to pick between the guys here, McDermott 43, Richardson 58, just give me McDermott at 43. Maybe even some Langford at 3,200. They run the young guys out there.
Yeah.
How about some Podol? The Sohan kid out of Baylor's 4,500. Don't hate that either. He's going to get a ton of minutes. Mm-hmm. I really won't mess with Podol at 7K just because it's Toronto.
Too high.
It's Toronto. And why the hell would I play him at 7K when I could play Jared Allen at 6'8"?
Yeah. But if Travis was here, he would let us know it's a revenge game, right? Because he was involved in the Kawhi Leonard trade. Thank you, Parabai. Hit the like. Parabai. Let me know. Smash the like, says Mike Whalen. Dude, you know who we're missing today? There's no Richie Smalls in the chat.
That's not
Tyler. My bad day's getting worse. My guy Richie's not even here to hang out. We haven't seen Eric Chang all year. What's up?
They probably think we're coming on at 2 p.m., but you got the Talking Touchdown show coming up next.
Yeah, that's actually picking winners. You and I talk touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, Talking Touchdowns. I get them all mixed up.
Yeah, and we can wait to see how terrible Holden's hair looks. So look forward to that here on the Run Pure Sports.
They just came across Hero not listed on injury report Wednesday, so he's going to play.
Yeah, that's what we thought about Giddey yesterday, right? We would never trust these NBA injury reports. That's why you need to watch the premium Up to Lock show on runpuresports.com. The Los Angeles Clippers are minus 5.5 in Houston, taking on the Rockets, total 223. Tyler, you had eyes on it. I didn't see the last game where the Rockets lost, but they did cover. It was only a 2-point game, and now they're running it back in the same arena. We've talked about how this is kind of tricky situation, something new they've done to limit travel, which I'm all in favor of. I think they run these NBA guys into the ground, especially the way that the game is played nowadays. But it's really tough on these zigzag spots. Do you think the Rockets can cover again?
No, I don't think so. They caught the Clippers on a back-to-back there. They got a huge number. The Clippers were missing a ton of guys in that lineup, so I had to side with Houston there at the +8. They got the job done. They almost looked like they were going to steal the game, and Paul George hit that late clutch shot to win the game. So that was good enough for them to get the win there. But now you look, they're getting John Wall back in this game. I know he's not the best player, but he's going to come back, run the second unit for him. These guys get a little rest. They're going to come out. They have a ton of bodies. They're going to throw them at Houston. These young guys are going to turn over the ball against the Clippers defense also. I think they win this game by about 8 this time. So I'm definitely going to lay the shorter number here at the 5.
Clippers haven't covered the spread in the last 6 games.
They got to cover it eventually, spread, and it's coming right here off the rest.
All right, just got to give the people the trends. People like trends. Tyler, and this is just some general NBA talk. Kawhi's out again, man. And I
see he said something about being frustrated about missing these early games in the season and everything.
I mean, did he talk? No, I missed it. I should.
Yeah, he came out and said something about that.
I mean, and this is why I was so down on him. And I hate to beat a guy when he's down, right? And I know it's not his fault. It's not like the guy, everyone go, oh, load management. The guy's got a degenerative knee condition. This isn't just him being tired or old, right? Like the original Tim Duncan one. But it's tough for me to see this team. I know everyone was so high on them in the preseason, but do you expect them to be healthy in the playoffs? I mean, And how does it affect the team with him going in and out of the lineup? It seems like it messes up some of their chemistry when they're trying to work him in, like in these weird second quarters and stuff. Your thoughts here? Am I just being a jerk because I'm in a bad mood and piling on the guy while he's down, or am I making some valid points here, Tyler?
No, I think you're making some valid points because like trying to work a guy like that back in is pretty tough. He likes to handle the ball a lot. He likes to set up the offense. He's not a guy that just likes to hang out in the corner. Yeah. So you bring him back here and there. You try and run the offense through him. A lot of these guys aren't used to it. You're taking the ball out of someone else's hands. So now that guy's got to get used to running in a different spot in the offense, which is just tough. You're also cutting minutes on guys, so that's just cutting into their attitudes on the floor too. So maybe some guys just don't like that. I think you got to get them worked back in a few months before the playoffs, like into like a full rotation type thing, and then just run it from there. Whatever you get out of him for the rest of the season, if he gasses towards the end or his knee gives out, you just got to ride Paul George and the other guys and hope they can get you home from there. Because I think
they can actually. I mean,
if he gets you to the finals and his knee finally gives out right at the end of the finals, you're up 3-1. Say his knee gives out, Paul George wins you the final game, you get into the finals, and he got you there. I think that's all you can ask from that guy.
Under how many playoff games he plays? I would go under 8.
Yeah, I was literally going to say 8. So staying off the number.
My guy, Uncle T, hitting the easy -1,000 bet here that Holden's hair will be awful. Yeah, we agree there. Good to see some consensus going on here today on the NBA Rundown. Guys, we're here every day breaking down the games. Even when we're late getting the projections up, even when I'm pissed off because my neighbor's dog won't start barking, we're here doing it for you. All we ask is that you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's talk about the Detroit Pistons. This is a jam-packed slate. Dude, this hardwood show is going to be crazy today, Tyler. Detroit Pistons plus 11.5 in Milwaukee taking on the Bucks. Another one, right? They just ran this a couple days ago. Giannis went absolutely nuclear. Total of 220.5 plus 477 if you want to get crazy on that money line. I think that should be like plus 800. I mean, unbelievable here. Do you think Detroit has a chance? Milwaukee's so big, and Detroit right now, they don't have anything going on inside. We see how much they miss Kelly Olynyk. He's doing well in Utah. Not a surprise there. I do agree with the trade. Bojan got paid, and I can see why they're doing that. I love what they're building here on the perimeter, but against a really big team like Milwaukee, it just feels like they're going to get crushed on the glass again. Do we just run it back with Milwaukee?
I mean, it's tough because you see what happened last game. Detroit looked like everyone counted them out. They came out and they put up a great fight. They almost won that game. They got guys, and we know how Milwaukee likes to play defense. They like to just let these guys shoot a ton of threes. But the way Bogdanovich,
but they've been trying not to do that this year.
They're trying.
Did you notice they're making a concerted effort?
Fall back into it sometimes, so it's like it still happens. Guys like Bogdanovich are hitting threes. I thought missing Duren in this matchup last game was going to be detrimental.
Is he going to play tonight?
No. But I thought it was going to be so bad that Giannis was just going to absolutely kill him inside. He was nowhere to be found the first half in that game last time. So,
but didn't he go nuclear by the end?
He did. And now the thing is like if you give me that for the full game, I think they can blow this team out. But the thing is this Detroit team, they're going to play these young guys till the end. They're not just going to throw the white flag and take Cade and these guys off the floor. They're going to give them a minute. So I'm not going to lay double digits against a young team like this that could easily backdoor you and lose this game by 8. But I'm also not going to take the plus 11. Probably just going to do the props in this game, like Bogdanovich's threes, Giannis's rebounds, and even his PRA, if you can get that right around 50.5.
What about my favorite twin out of Stanford, Brook Lopez? I think he has a big night.
We can go with his threes. I mean, the dude's been on fire from 3. And if you can even do the FanDuel, let me get to that game on FanDuel real quick. You could do some of those, we call them ladder props, where you go up. Like his threes will probably set right around 1.5. Is his name up here yet? Yeah, 1.5 minus 146. Say if the dude hit 3 threes, you get that number at plus 225. The dude's hit 4 threes in games this year. You're getting plus 640 on that. So that's as far as they will go up. They won't even offer 5+ threes on Brook. So if you think you can get up to 4, you can get plus 640 on that prop.
And no one does those big money props better than Tyler. So make sure you give him that thumbs up for keep giving the winners. Anything more from that game before we move on?
That's pretty much it. Just props on that one. I just don't want to get backdoored on that game.
Dude, this slate is so crazy because we only have 2 night games. The Utah Jazz, they start at 5:30 my time. It'll be 8:30 out there for you. But that's going to just, I mean, dude, league passes going to be crazy. I'm probably going to get carpal tunnel flipping through all these games. Utah Jazz plus 6.5 against the Dallas Mavericks. The Jazz, right? We talked about surprises of the season with the Spurs. The Jazz, of course, the talk of the town as they continue to win on a team that we thought was built to tank. Total 222 plus 215 for the Jazz on the money line. Tyler, your thoughts? Can the Jazz musicians continue to make good music?
Our guy Bobsky says Bet365 has Lopez 5-3s 15-1. I mean, that's a lot of threes, but
dude, you hit that, they'll probably limit you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you're definitely getting limited.
Yeah,
dude could definitely get hot from three and hit those. But as for this Dallas game, I like back in Utah at home. I'm gonna side with Dallas here, picking up the win. I'll probably do it some way through like a Luka performance double. Like I see his doubles listed, and Dallas win plus 112. Mm-hmm. He scored a ton of points this year, spread 35 plus points, and Dallas wins plus 160. He could easily get to 35 versus this team. I mean, who's going to guard him? Sexton, Markkanen. They have no big on the inside to stop him from getting to the rim. So, Walker. Is he even playing?
Let's double check here on the thing right now.
Last I checked, he was questionable.
He's green, off injury.
Off injury report. I'm still not that worried about him. You know what? He gets spread. What? Brought out into the pick and roll, and just threes dropped on him from the outside by Luka. So,
well, hey, he brought him in to replace Rudy. What better way than to get brought
just to get torched by Luka? Yep,
and get toasted.
Yeah, right. Christian Wood's coming. He's probable in this game, so he'll be there too. He could hit some threes. Yeah. Give me.
Did you see when they tried to run Christian Wood in that closing lineup? Which game was that against?
That was against. It was a bad team too. They almost blew that game. I think it was OKC. I'll go back and look, but I think
they blew the huge lead, huh? Yeah. So Christian Wood not going to be in the closing lineup anytime soon until he improves that defensive effort. And we know that Jason Kidd doesn't play, right? So, hey, I thought Kidd was a terrible hire when they switched him out. Remember they did a couple years ago?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, they lost Carlisle. Well, hey, we can't be right on every single take.
One of those former point guards had to be a good coach. The other one got fired.
Who?
Chauncey Billups is still up in the air. That's Steve Nash. He got fired.
He's doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's doing good. Him and Kid are making names for themselves.
Hey, and they got a nice little interim right there. Another point guard, Kansas legend, Jacques Vaughn. I think he played for Utah and a couple other teams. Wasn't much of an NBA player, but if I remember right, I should ask Holden. I think that he won a national championship while he was at Kansas. So he's the interim coach right now until they bring in Mr. Man. Hey, I don't think I mind going out with Ime Udoka. There'd probably be a lot of fun going on. But I don't know if I want him coaching my basketball team. The Brooklyn Nets do, though, so let's see if they get that taken care of. Anything more on the Jazz and the Mavericks before we moved on?
Now we can move on to the next
What do you think of Colin Sexton this year?
I mean, I think he's pretty much still the same player he was in Cleveland. Like, if he's hot, he's going to give you a ton of points. But, like, the dude's never going to not have the green light. He gives himself the permanent green light, no matter what the coach says. So if he's missing shots, he's going to shoot you out of a game. If he's making shots, he's going to keep you in a game, possibly win you it. He's like a love-hate player. Like, when he's hot, you think he's the best player on the floor. You love him. Uh-huh. When he's not, you want him kicked off your team and away, like, just as far away as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like what they're doing there in Utah. So, all right, let's keep on moving here on this slate. 2 games left, Tyler. We're doing great. We're not gonna go overtime. Travis and Holden will be happy. We get to start on time. Make sure you're subscribed. You'll be notified every time the Run Pure Sports team goes live. Give us a thumbs up as we break down the Memphis Grizzlies in Portland, taking on the Trailblazers. Trailblazers catching 4.5 at home. We talk about how this was a feisty team, Tyler. Now, I know that Dame's out, but this team is able to absorb the offensive usage, I believe, with Simons. Jeremy Grant, he's always wanted to be a number one, right? I see Josh Hart questionable, Steven Adams questionable. Our guy from last week, Kurt, gave out the Jake LaRavia game. He had the huge game when Kurt gave him out. We'll have to see if he's going to be back on him tonight. He's questionable. Brandon Clark is back, and Desmond Bane is questionable. Kind of tough to fully handicap this game, especially from the daily fantasy perspective. But I think from just attacking the side and the total, we can kind of navigate it, even with all this news up in the air. I mean, I think Portland's going to be kind of feisty at home. They've always been really good at home. And, this Memphis team, hey, they can be a little bit hit or miss. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, Memphis definitely hit or miss. Jaw is back, so they're going to score a ton of points. 226 seems pretty low here, spread. Definitely like the over. Because if Portland's going to keep this game close, they're going to score a ton of points. Like, that's how they do it. Simon's going to hit a ton of threes. If Bane's out, that just means their defense is going to lack even more on the Memphis side. It's just going to be Brooks chasing around one guy till he gets 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes and he's off the floor. So, definitely like the over here. As for the side, I need to see some of these Q tags and what they get rolled in. If Josh Hart's in, Bane's out, and Adams, I'm really not as worried about because Nurkic is on the other side. But Hart's the big one for me. If Hart's in, give me Portland here. I think they could win the game outright because that's another guy, pretty good perimeter defender, could chase Jaw around, keep him away from the rim a bit, and help these guys inside when he does come down there. So definitely need him in this game to side with Portland. If he's out, I'm probably just going to play the over, and that's it.
Hey, we got to note Memphis is 1-4 in their last 5 against the spread against the Portland Trailblazers. So let's wait for that news. But like you said, if Josh Hart is in, okay, let's say Josh Hart and Bane are in. Can I still take Portland or should I delay off?
I don't hate taking them plus the points. I wouldn't take them to win it outright. If Bane's out and he's in, I'm taking them to win the game outright. Okay. So, yeah, I'd lean more towards taking the points if they're both in.
And, of course, it's not as crazy as the DFS Discord, right? But Tyler's going to be updating you guys as these news comes out, what exactly that we're going to be on. And we'll be updating the playbook as well when we do get the news. Because, like you said, a lot of moving parts in that game. But initially, I leaned Portland, ran the numbers, still like Portland. So let's see if those Trailblazers and your guy, Chauncey Billups, can get it done. Although, to be fair, he's well, we won't talk about that. The New Orleans Pelicans are down to -3 in Los Angeles, taking on the Lakers, 229.5, plus 135 for the Lakers on the money. And it's an everybody revenge game, right? I mean, everybody's got revenge all over each other here, right? So it's like two guys date the same girl, and then they're fighting in the ring. What do you think here as the Pelicans take on? Well, none of them really played with them, but still, reverberations from that big trade will be echoing until 2027, as even this year, the Lakers pick, which could be number 1 overall, heading to New Orleans. We're missing Brandon Ingram, but we're waiting on some other news. We got Herb Jones probable, Dyson Daniels probable, Anthony Davis, of course, questionable, LeBron James probable, JTA, Toscano Anderson is probable, Schrader's still out, and Ingram is out. Tyler, my numbers like the Lakers, and you told me my numbers are wrong. Tell the people why I did not project the Lakers and the Pelicans correctly.
This team sucks, spread. Like, you're going to give me a 3.5 on I'm going to call them the best defensive team in the league, especially if Herb Jones is on the floor tonight. Like
the best, they're not the best defensive team in the league.
The best Western Conference defense.
Okay, I was going to say, because Boston's better.
Okay, so yeah, I'll go with that. Give me the best Western Conference defense.
In the West, better defense.
Don't even say Phoenix. Phoenix got one guy that's chasing everybody around.
How'd you know that's what I was going to say?
I knew that you were going with that, but Mikal Bridges just covers that whole defense by himself pretty much.
What about the Clips with their best defensive lineup?
I mean, I think this one's better.
What about the Warriors? Underrated defense out there in Golden State.
But they can't cover the size. They still get beat up on the inside. This defense can stop you in any way they want. Like, where's their path to points here tonight? Like, if AD plays, like
LeBron, stat padding.
Good luck, because there's multiple guys on the floor that can guard him. And like Herb Jones is going to be the main one chasing him around. They'll put Zion on him if they have to, and that'll keep him out of the paint because Zion's bigger than him. He won't be able to.
Yeah, but Zion doesn't have a lot of quickness to stay in front of him.
I think he can stay in front of him pretty well, like a lot better than you think. And then just some of these other guys. If Dyson Daniels sees some minutes, he's a very good defender. Jose Alvarado would chase these guards around, cause problems.
Alvarado's a defensive
They won their one game against Denver by just getting absolutely hot from 3.
Yeah, where they hit like 60% or something.
And it wasn't just LeBron. Like, you had multiple of the role players hitting threes also. I don't see that happening here. They know they own that first round pick. You pound them into the ground, it gives you a better chance at a better pick in the end of the year. They're coming out. They're smashing this team spread. New Orleans is winning this game by 10. Give me this -3.
Tyler, giving us a great reason to not take the Pelicans. And, hey, let me throw the projections out the window.
I'm giving you good reason to take the Pelicans.
Yeah.
You said not to take the Pelicans.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Still a little tired. That dog. Props for this game. What have you looked at?
Yeah, I mean, definitely like CJ McCollum here because guards just tear up this LA team. I think Zion could absolutely eat this team up on the inside too. Like AD is not a rim protector. They probably really don't put one on the floor
He
either.
is.
He's not going to do it with a tight back though against a guy that's going to want to put him in the post and beat him up. I don't see it.
You don't think we see a little pride from Mr. Unibrow tonight? I mean,
no, I don't. He's already, if he wasn't already hurt, I'd say yes, but he's already hurt. I think if he tries it, he's just going to hurt himself more and he'll be in the locker room. I think Joe Val could absolutely eat this team up too.
Is Anthony Davis the oldest 29-year-old in NBA history?
I think so. Do you think it had anything to do with his late growth spurts in high school? Where the dude was like 6'1", all of a sudden he jumped up to 7 foot in 1 year?
I mean, it could have a lot to do with that. I also think that he doesn't try hard in the offseason. He doesn't dedicate himself to the body. And I think if you sit around for 3 months and then you try and play yourself into shape, it's not a good idea. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I agree.
Look at the very best athletes in the league. Like, look at LeBron. Like, you know me. I'll take any opportunity I get to hate on LeBron. But you can't doubt his dedication to basketball. And it starts with his physical fitness. Have you ever seen the guy out of shape?
No, I mean, and outside of the last 2 years in his late 30s, the dude rarely missed games.
And no one shouldn't even be playing at this age. At this age, flashback, and maybe one or two people in the chat will remember, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar tried to play at this stage. Half the times when they fast break, he wouldn't even run down the court.
You imagine if somebody did that today?
Go down there. Yeah, and he just stayed on the defensive end because back then everything went through the middle. They needed his post presence. They needed the rim protection. And he's like, Magic and Worthy and Byron Scott running on the fast break, all just chill back here. And now you got LeBron out here just blowing cats off the dribble at age 37. It's a testament to his fitness and his dedication. But unfortunately, the guy that I think that he chose to ride with doesn't have that same dedication. And I would love to hear the narrative around that guy if they didn't sneak off that bubble ring, because he's one of the biggest disappointments, I think, just because of his lack of dedication to the sport. So
when are the two main guys in LA and Brooklyn going to look at each other and say, we need each other? Let's kick these sidekicks out. Because that's that's the ultimate duo. They just finally say, screw it. Let's just
don't
do
that
now.
To me, Tyler. I don't want KD
but think about the one guy LeBron could probably look at and be like, this guy has just as much drive to be good in basketball as me. It's probably the guy that all he wants to do is play basketball. I
know. I mean, KD's a hooper too. He probably takes care of his body. We just can't tell because he's so thin.
Yeah.
Did you hear when Amon St. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown's dad tweeted at him to do some calf raises?
No, I did.
Did you know he's a bodybuilder?
That's great.
Regardless, he doesn't need him. He's still one of the best scorers. Unfortunately, he's carrying that whole team. So I think they're getting another net. I think that Kyrie is going to be the one that ends up running with LeBron again, but it might be.
I hope they flip. I hope it's KD. I hope it's KD and LeBron.
I don't.
Kick the other guys out and just let them two finally go to work together.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, Tyler, we did a great job. And guys, towards the end, right, I stopped talking about the DFS because we were trying to get through the whole slate in an hour. And you know, you still have the Hardwood Live show coming up on this channel, and they're going to give you a much more in-depth breakdown. So kind of wanted to focus on the betting to make sure that we finished in time. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. You'll be notified when those guys go live this afternoon. And Tyler, we talked about it. Monster slate. We're still waiting on plenty of news. And I think you're going to be able to start subscribes it today because I think the value by the time all this stuff comes out is going to be popping. And that's where you're going to be listening to the experts on the Run Pure team. Give us that thumbs up, and we'll give you some best bets. Do you have an idea what the likes are at right now?
Here, I'll jump on.
Am I going to get a message from Hoop again?
I was going to say, we might be
I don't like
message.
Disappointing Hoop.
I really hope
Hoop's
we don't get relegated back to the old channel spread.
Right? I mean, so well-spoken. He's a family man, right?
We got 48 likes, 119 watching.
All right, guys. Let's get those likes up. But we're going to give you the best bets anyways because I'm a man of the people, and I'll take the bullets from the Hoopster just to give you guys the plays. Let's go ahead and start with you, Tyler. Best bet for today, side total or prop?
I'm rolling with 2. Give me Atlanta money line at plus 120.
I already knew that was it because you messaged me.
And you already know what the other one is. Give me the Pelicans -3.
Okay. So you like Atlanta plus. I'll give 2-2 then. Give me the over on Trey. We'll go ahead and piggyback there. So I want that over on Trae Young. And then what was the other one that I really liked here? I want the over on Trae Young. Oh, I want the I know you don't like this. I'm going to take the Cavaliers. I'm going to take the Cavaliers money line. So there you have it. There are our best bets for the day. There is the NBA rundown brought to you in a concise 53 minutes. What team can do that besides the Run Pure team? Make sure you head over to runpuresports.com and give us the thumbs up, guys. We're doing it for you, for the people. Tyler, what do you think? Do they deserve a home run parlay, or are you going to Discord that guy?
Nah, we'll give it to him today. I'm looking for the third. I'm
Look
looking
at us, we're so
I'm looking for the
generous.
third leg now to get one in here, but
All right. Well, Tyler's fine.
we'll roll with this.
Okay.
We'll go Trae Young, 25 plus points. Atlanta wins.
Love
Joe
it.
Val to get a double and New Orleans wins.
Why that? Let me ask you real quick, because we didn't really talk about him.
I could just there's no big men in the middle. He could easily just fall into 10. He can grab 10 rebounds in the first quarter, and 10 points he could easily fall into also through 4 quarters. He's going to see the minutes. There's no other big in there if AD gets into foul trouble. Like Juan Toscano-Anderson against some spread is not good. He's going to eat on the offensive glass. He could score. He can get 15 and 15 right here, and no one would blink against this front court, I think.
Great breakdown. All right, so let's do that again. We got Trae 25 plus and win. Joe Val double and win. And what's taking us home?
Luka 35 plus points. Dallas win.
35 plus?
Yep, that's what they have it set at. I think he can get there.
What is that? What is the payout there?
Plus 164. It gets us that all 3 legs gets us to 20-1.
20-1. And if you guys have been watching the show, you know how well Tyler does with these parlays. So we're going to go ahead and we'll bet those other ones straight, and then we're going to shoot for the home run there. Tyler, we got to pat ourselves on the back, man. Travis didn't think that we could get through these heavy slates, and we've been doing it, giving the people the information. Do you have any words of wisdom before we sign off? And then I get ready.
Yeah, I was about to say, just don't go too far. You guys are doing the pick and winner show, you, Travis, and Holden after this. And then after that, we got the hardwood show, then the Up the Lock show, and then this great NBA slate starts. So don't go too far from your computers. Go grab a drink, come right back.
Yep, go grab a drink, hit the fridge, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. A lot of fun today. My guy DJ in the chat, pushing my buttons, but it makes it so much more fun. I appreciate everyone for watching. Run